Alright guys, so I'm at the Cliffhanger Cafe. It's supposed to have a pretty cool view. Opened up at 3:30 now. I just see one car there. We're going to see if it's open now. You can tell it looks like somebody's home. There's no gate or anything. It looks like it's a really cool view. Let's see if it's open. Looks open. Ayo? Open? Oh, okay. It's open. Okay. So it's open. So here's the menu here. And so I'm going to order. Doesn't really look like they have meals here per se. But I'm going to order okay.
Hi.
Maayong hapon.
Maayong hapon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good?
You?
I'm good. I wasn't sure if you were open. But you're so somebody lives here, right? And then you have the restaurant. What a view.
Thank you.
Does this get busy? It gets busy at night sometimes?
Only on the weekend.
Only a weekend. Okay. Well, I'm going to advertise it for you. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Sure. What is good? What should I try? Should I try the
Cold brew.
cold brew?
Yeah.
How about a cold brew caramel?
Okay.
Lami?
Okay. Caramel macchiato.
And how about for an appetizer? What do you recommend?
Our best seller is beef quesadilla.
Let's do that. Beef
Okay.
quesadilla and cold brew caramel. We'll take a look at the view real quick here. Look at that view. And there's a home. You can sit here at like the stools, and you can sit the little tables, and you can do Japanese style with the pillow. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about saving face culture in the Philippines, and with this beautiful backdrop here. It's called the Cliffhanger Cafe. I will show you behind me one more time here. Beautiful little spot up here in Davao, and place is just amazing. Beautiful, built onto somebody's home here, and it is 3:40 in the afternoon, so it's just kind of now the sun's starting to set, and it's getting a little cooler. But I want to talk a little bit about this because and a few different aspects of this. There's these little mosquitoes buzzing around. One, you have the Western culture where if something doesn't go right, like in you go to a store, or you go to a restaurant, whatever, it's almost commonplace that if things don't start going right, you may be nice at first, and then if things don't go right, you start to raise your voice and you get angry, and sometimes that spurs where you're going to get not better treatment, I would say, but you're going to get better service, because you almost have to get angry sometimes in certain situations, although I would argue being nicer has a better effect. But in the Philippines, it's not really like that. In public, you don't ever hear Filipinos at restaurants, at establishments, ever raising their voice or getting angry. It's just not common here. You know, people just kind of accept, you know, which is why, you know, you go into restaurants and you may hear somebody say, sorry, out of stock. And that happens with 3 or 4 items sometimes. Or you go to, you know, for example, you go to this taco place. I've got a friend who goes to this taco place, and he likes to go grab a soft taco. And apparently they run out of these soft tacos every night. And he said, well, why don't you guys get how many soft shell, you know, tacos do you get? And she said, I don't know, maybe a package of 30. He said, well, why don't you talk to the manager, and maybe they should get 50 or 60. And their response is, I don't know, sir. Okay, yes, I'll talk. But I guarantee they won't go talk to the manager. They won't get 50 or 60 tacos. It just doesn't happen. All right, so I got my drink, iced brew, caramel macchiato, and it's actually quite good. Anyway, so back to the save face culture. So it just doesn't really do a lot of good. It's kind of like in one ear and out the other. And so it's better just really, you just kind of, this is what I go back to with previous videos. You just have to have patience. You have to adjust. You have to let things just be the way they are, you know. If you want that, if my friend wants that soft shell taco, guess what? He's got to go earlier, because he knows they run out at a certain time. It's just the way it is. If your meal isn't good, you have to calmly talk to them. And getting upset, raising your voice, things like that, it just doesn't help. You have to kind of adjust and just kind of follow the culture here. And you will never see a fellow Filipino, not a fellow Filipino, but a Filipino getting upset, raising their voice, yelling in a public place at some kind of business establishment. It just doesn't happen. They adjust. You know, they're used to things being out of stock. They're used to just the wackiness of the Philippines sometimes. It's just the way it is. The other thing I want to talk about is just in regards to dating with saving face. Now I also have friends who do the hardcore approach in the Philippines, and it just really, in my opinion, doesn't work that well. And I'll explain why. Again, it goes back to the saving face culture. So if you approach a Filipina and you approach in a manner where it's in public, for example, you're at a mall or she's with coworkers, you go into a store and she's working, and you go to talk to her and you say, hey, I find you really attractive, give me your phone number, give me your Facebook. Chances are that she's probably going to give it to you. And in the West, we're almost used to that hardcore approach, and we're used to being shot down. But here in the Philippines, they don't shoot you down. They don't want to cause embarrassment. They don't want you to get upset, and they don't want you to cause a scene. And so what happens is sometimes when they're not interested, they will still give you their Facebook. They'll still give you their phone number, and they just may never call you. They may never add you on Facebook. If you message them, it might just stay in the ignore category, unless they really have an interest or they have experience in dealing with other foreigners before. But for the most part, it is much better going with a soft approach, in my opinion. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you go to them and you establish a little rapport with them. For example, if you are interested in a girl who works at a store, and you go in that store and you say hello and you kind of shop around, and make some small talk, and maybe you go in the store a second time, or maybe a third time, you know, depending, again, this is different approaches for people depending on how much time you have and things like that. And then at that point is where you kind of maybe pay her a compliment, like, hey, you're beautiful, your husband is very lucky. And they usually will they're either going to answer with an opportunity or to shut the door on the opportunity. They're either going to say, yes, my husband or my boyfriend is lucky, he's happy with me, or whatever. Or they might actually say, no, sir, I'm single. And that is actually your opening to go ahead and say, hey, can I get your Facebook? Can I get your phone number? And I find that if you get it and then don't ask them directly out on a date, like in front of people, I find it's better to just go ahead and say, I would like to get to know you, and ask for their Facebook and their phone number and say, I'd like to get to know you. Maybe we can chat on Facebook Messenger or on WhatsApp or whatever. And I find that would work better. Now I'm off the market now. I don't do that anymore, but during my time that had worked. Again, if you go with an approach where it could cause them some embarrassment, you know, asking them out on the spot, they might go ahead and say yes, because they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed of what your reaction might be if they turn you down in public, in front of their coworkers, in front of people walking by at the mall or whatever. So again, I think the soft approach is much better. And I think you have much better success. But it goes back to the saving face culture. It really does. You know, if you go and you're not happy with something, just don't cause a scene in public. It just doesn't bode well. It doesn't work out. And it also can be a dangerous situation if you cause maybe a Filipino guy embarrassment in a setting where you cause him to lose face. It could turn out very ugly. There's stories of situations in a bar where, you know, somebody, expat or foreigner has caused embarrassment to maybe a drunk Filipino, which is going to be much worse, and it has, you know, turned out badly. But it's really kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And again, this is kind of the approach of my new style, new format of videos. Is I have a topic and I show you a place at the same time, kind of combining two things into one video, you know. So here we have, again, the Cliffhanger Cafe. I can see it behind me, and great views. Yeah, just absolutely beautiful. And this all lights up at night, so I imagine at nighttime it's really nice. After this, I'm actually going to go to People's Park. It opened again after, I think, 2 years of being closed down, and I think I will do a walk and talk through People's Park to show you guys. And when I had went there before, there was a lot of people who used to go there walking, take their dogs, take their kids, and kind of a nice environment. So I will show you guys that. But anyway, questions, comments, experiences you've had, things that have worked for you, things that haven't worked, let me know down in the comments. And again, if you are in Davao, check out this place. It's up in the mountains, not in the mountains, up in the hills, I would say, and it's called Cliffhanger Cafe. And good drinks. I'm going to try that. See you guys next time.
Let's take it real soon.